up, everybody? What's up? What's up? What's up? How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Let me know where you're chiming in from. Buddy on Twitter Spaces, on Instagram, on Zoom, everywhere out there. I hope you guys are great. Welcome to Backstage with PV3. If you don't know my name, it's Pete Vargas III, where we take you backstage every single week, behind the scenes of incredible things of how you get your message out to the world, how you build your business, how you get on stages. We take you behind the scenes, not only with 20 years of being the best in the world at it, but we bring you incredible people week in and week out to take you backstage with. And quite frankly, I'm really excited about today because one of the biggest fears that people have in this world, we're going to tackle today. That fear of stage fright. We're not only going to tackle stage fright, we're going to tackle how you build your own empire, the importance of your voice being heard in this world. We're going to tackle all of that stuff today. And I'm so excited. We're on Instagram, we're in Twitter Spaces, we're in Zoom, we're lots of places. All of those that are on Grant's Twitter Space right now, welcome, welcome, welcome. We do this show live every single week, every single week. Yes, thank you so much for our live attendance. They're taking notice that I'm approaching 40 pounds down on the year. I feel really good about that. And I feel really great. And I'm going to tell you what, it's because of a speaker that I heard that's part of the, a couple of speakers that I heard that are part of the 10X family that really helped become a catalyst for that for me, a huge catalyst for that for me. The reason I want you having your voice heard, and instead of having it heard one-to-one, having it heard one-to-many, is because what begins to happen is a lot of people come into your world at a time. So many of us are used to doing things one-to-one, but I'm telling you, the opportunity that exists for you to do it one-to-many has never been greater than it is right now, especially virtually, digitally. We have 700 to 1,000 people watch this show every single week live, and then thousands that are watching it on the replay side of it. And so I just want you to understand the power of that. And so welcome. This is one of those times. My wife and I are on a getaway in California. She just walked out and she's like, I'm so glad that you are committed to this show week in and week out. It's one of the things that I'm committed to because we want to be able to provide free, powerful resources for you week in and week out. So who's excited about today? Who's excited about today? Come on, drop it in the comments, drop it on Twitter Space, drop it on Instagram, drop it everywhere. You guys are in for a treat. I am so excited today because one of my favorite people out there, this woman inspires me, man. She inspires me. And quite frankly, this is the first, we've only had a couple of guests so far, but this is our first woman that is a guest of Backstage with PV3. I'm excited about this show because Grant wanted us to do a show every week on Twitter Space. And I'm like, we're not just going to do it on Twitter Space. We're going to do it everywhere. And it's going to become very popular. And I'm so excited because this lady inspired me since the day that I met her in 2019. First time I met her was when I spoke at 10X Growth Con. And I saw her at the left corner of my eye, and she sat in there and she listened to the entire presentation. And since then, I've gotten to know her in an incredible way. She's inspiring men and women all across the world, but it's amazing to see the voice that she has to really impact a lot of women, but there's lots of men like me who have also been impacted by her and just what she is doing to get her message out to the world. And so I'm excited to welcome to Backstage with PV3 today, the one and only. Drop a lot of love in the chat on Twitter, on Instagram. Would y'all give it up for my dear friend, Elena Cardone? Come on, give it up for Elena Cardone.
Thank you so much, Pete. I'm loving it here. Look at all the love in the chat. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and you can't even see Twitter space or Instagram, like they're lighting up for you. Elena, you're out of the country today, aren't you?
I am. I'm in Sussex, England right now. So I thought I had a good connection, but I'm now standing in the hallway because every time I went into the nice, pretty setup room that I had with the good lighting, it was cutting out. So I'm now in the hallway.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Like that's how you've lived your life, isn't it? Like, isn't like things don't always go according to plan, do they?
Definitely not. That's one thing I've learned being with Grant and having children. It's you have to be mercurial, meaning like, you know how you can't catch mercury in a thermometer? Like you just have to be fluid and willing to have a lot of change and a lot of random motion go on. And I'm pretty flat on that now. So I can handle and go with the flow.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And guys, we've got something very special today, a very special announcement that I'm going to be talking about at the end today. So you're going to want to hang on. Elena, one of the things that blows me away, I'm going to feel inspired to kind of lead us today because I know you'll ebb and flow with it. But one of the things that blows my mind away is people would rather die than be the one delivering the eulogy. They would rather die, they would rather face death than being the one that actually communicates. Public speaking, it ranks higher than death. Elena, why is that? Like, why do you think people are so afraid of communicating? I don't know if you faced that in your life of where you were afraid in the past, but like, why is that? Why is that? And how do we overcome that?
I don't know. I think it's a fear of being judged, or, you know, you're putting yourself up to be vulnerable to, well, how are they going to like me? You know, you put yourself in a very vulnerable situation, especially when you're going in front of stages or speaking in front of large groups. So it is one of the most terrifying things that people say they most fear. And it's probably from a whole line of, you know, being put in front of stands where people judge you in a jury, and you know, it probably just stuck with us through time, through the genetic line or something, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be judged and embarrassed and humiliated. So I think that's why people are afraid to speak in front of audiences or to communicate to people. They're afraid they're going to say something wrong or not be liked, probably.
How would you encourage people to overcome that? Because if your voice isn't heard, and we'll talk about people's voices later, but if their voice isn't heard, they can't make an impact in this world. So like, how do people overcome that? Like, how would you encourage them to overcome that?
Well, there's a few different ways. I mean, obviously I could say definitely go if someone was interested in that, even if they want to articulate themselves better in a boardroom. It doesn't even have to be in front of a big stage. Go to somebody like yourself where they can go have a trial and error, or get to see themselves, or getting comfortable seeing and hearing themselves, and starting to really be aware of all the likes and the ums and the this, so they can actually start putting an effort into getting those things hammered out of existence. The other thing is if you want to do that, get really clear on your purpose, what it is that you want to do. What is your message? What is your voice? What do you have to communicate? And what do you want to go from the intention that's in your mind? What do you want to come out through a form of communication for somebody at receipt point to understand with duplication? And so one of the things that helped me get over that fear of speaking on stages is when I got outside of myself, quite frankly, when I figured out, well, this is a message. I do have something to say. I do want to help people. And I think that my story can help people. So then it became more about the attention being on the one person in the audience that I could help, made it more important than my little nerves of my shaking knees or my dry throat or whatever it is. And I just said, you know what? It doesn't matter how I feel. If I can help somebody else, it just made the experience not about me. It helped to take the attention so much off of me and my feelings, and I'm uncomfortable and my palms are sweating. This all happens to me still. Like, it doesn't go away. I just do it anyway because I have this purpose that I think that my material or my message warrants somebody else being able to hear it and have a cognition to maybe improve or change their life. So when I have that sitting there, I go, okay, it's not about me, it's about Jane in the front row or Bob in the back row, that I could have made a difference. And they go home and heard something that I said and improved their marriage. Okay. Do I care now that my knees shook if Bob in the back row starts to have a better marriage with his wife because of something I said? Or Jane in the front row gets enough courage to go and ask for a raise? Like, okay, I don't care that I had cotton mouth anymore. That to me makes it all worth it. And so a number of times over, the more times I can put myself in uncomfortable situations and go on stages and speak in spite of all that happening, eventually it kind of lessens and lessens and lessens as time goes on. But it hasn't totally erased for me 100%. I still care. I still care about being judged. I still care about being liked and criticized. And I know that's my weakness. And I know that I shouldn't care about those things, but I'm also real with myself and I do. But I acknowledge that I have all that going on and I do it anyway. And I get criticized sometimes. So what? So what? People who criticize are more saying about their transgressions or their critical nature about themselves of what they weren't able to do. And that's why they criticize. So, you can make sense of anything.
Man, I loved a couple of things she said. Like, she used Jane and Bob as the example. I love Jane and Bob also don't care. So the first thing she said is she's getting out of what is about her and putting the attendee in her mind instead of herself in her mind. Like, all of you, if you begin to think about the person in the audience instead of yourself, all of a sudden you'll begin to see your fright overcome, even more so than you've ever seen it. When you get on stage, you're still going to shake a little bit. You're not going to be perfect. You're still going to say, but Bob doesn't care because he just got his marriage restored, or Jane doesn't care because of the fact that Elena changed her life. They're not even thinking about the or I forgot a word in my talk. They're thinking about the transformation that was delivered as a result of Elena, or for you in your case, you being that person. And I love what Elena said. Just know that every person who criticizes you, there's 8 or 9 people that you helped and served. So why are we focused on the one and not focused on the 8 or 9 that we helped change their lives and serve them? We're focused on the 10% or the 20% instead of the 80 or 90 that we're changing their lives. And so, Elena, I want to ask you, because I'm excited. I only have 4 or 5 questions because I know it's later over there. I love the story of the importance for you as parents in this, because I'm raising my kids up. There's something that you and Grant said that triggered something for me. And it's the person who would help your kids with school. And they asked I'm paraphrasing it, but they asked the question, what's important? Like, what subject do you want your kids to really propel in and learn and grow in? And you and Grant said, listen, it's not that I don't care about that, but what I care about are my daughters being confident communicators, because if they're confident communicators, they can do anything in life that they want to. Speak to that for the audience today, Elena. Like, why is that so important to you as you even raise your daughters?
Because communication is the universal solvent. I mean, literally, it has the potential to solve wars. I mean, it's how to effectively get your ideas across to other people. Like this, we're not in a one terminal universe. We don't live on planet Earth by ourselves. We're on like a 2-terminal universe, 2 people. We work best in talking and communicating and being around other people. And when you can communicate, can look somebody in the eyes and be true and authentic and speak, you create reality. Somebody can share reality with you. I can talk to you about stages and we have reality about that, right? What does that grow? Affinity. The more that you can communicate, the more you can increase affinity and reality with fellow mankind. And so it is important, because what else is there? I mean, communication is It's how you get outside of your body to be able to reflect and show up in the physical universe. I mean, otherwise, without communication, you'd be a rock.
I love that. And I love the other thing that Grant and Elena said that really got my attention. You know, think about kids. Since they're little, even me, I was always shushed. And then I asked myself the question, why was I afraid or timid or not confident to go communicate as I got older? Because all the time I'm shushed as the kid. Shh, shh, shh. All of the parents out there, this is a huge teachable moment for you. Because when Grant and Elena said this, it triggered for me. It's like, oh my God, the amount of times that I shush my kids, and it's reinforcing in their subconscious that they're supposed to be quiet. And I quite want the opposite of that. I want them to speak up. I want them to be confident. But if I'm constantly shushing them, how are they going to be confident? That's changed in my life. Like, I'm encouraging, I catch myself consciously when I shush my kids now. And I love what Grant and Elena does. Like, in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk about this, I'm excited. Elena's got both of her daughters on a stage of over 1,000 women and some very smart men, by the way, that are going to be there, especially if they're single men. It's a great room to be in. But if you want to support your spouse, you being there too. But she's got both her daughters on the stage. Like, Elena, you're like giving them opportunities to actually overcome their fear and be confident in what they do, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, for people who don't understand or hear it in full context would kind of raise their eyebrows at Grant and I, because we've always taught our kids to talk to strangers. We never taught our kids don't talk to strangers. We as parents, it's my job to protect the environment and make the environment safe. So if I have done my job as a parent and protected the environment, why can't they go talk to strangers? Now I'm talking about when they were 2, 4, 6, 8, they're not going anywhere without somebody having a good eye on them. It's my job to make the environment safe. So from a young age, you know, Grant loves to tell the story about how when Sabrina was 2 or 3 years old and they were on an airplane together. This was before the private one, and Sabrina wanted cookies. And he was like, well, if you want cookies, you got to go ask for cookies. You got to go get cookies. And then, you know, so she pops out of her seat and she goes up to the flight attendant and asks her for some cookies. And she says she doesn't have cookies. And Sabrina says, okay, when it goes back to Grant, and he's like, doesn't have cookies. And Grant will said, well, did you ask her to check? Sabrina pops back off of her chair and waddles on down the row and goes up to her and says, excuse me, can you please check for the cookies? And the lady checks for the cookies, and sure enough, she gets the cookies. And she goes back, and Sabrina's all excited and proud of herself and confident she got what she wanted by communicating. And people have everything that you want and need. Like, people have what you need. And so then Grant was, you know, she's all excited. Can I eat the cookies? And Grant was like, well, yeah, you can eat the cookies, but you have to give me half for a finder's fee. But the moral of the story is, you know, here we are taught never to talk to strangers, and then we grow up as adults and we need things. We need to sell our products and services. We're not supposed to talk to our friends and family about that. Then what does that leave you? You know, you're not supposed to do business with your friends or family. By the way, that's the stupidest thing ever. If you can't do business with your friends and family, they ain't my friends and my family. To begin with, let's just qualify that one right now. But then what are you left with? Talking to strangers, and you've been taught your whole life not to go talk to strangers. It's no wonder people hate sales and are terrified to go ask for clothes or ask for anything or introduce themselves. They're like, so, you know, yeah, the kids have been definitely reared different in our household. They've never been taught, watch out. I'm sorry, they've never been taught, be careful. We didn't want to introvert our kids. Be careful, be careful, be careful. The kid's afraid to do anything in life. Instead, I would say, look, you see this corner right here? Sharp. You might not want to hit it. Watch. Look at there. You see that corner? That's there. That's there. Now, again, it's my job as a parent to protect the space. I'm not going to go leave a knife on the table in front of a 3-year-old, right? I got to protect the environment. but within the environment, we didn't go plug up everything. I told the kids, you stick your finger in there, you're probably only going to do it once because it will hurt. Kids never stuck their fingers in the electrical sockets, like, so that's what we did. Watch out. It makes your attention go out, look, instead of introvert, be careful and afraid of the world. I didn't want that for my kids. So my kids will tell you that they've never really been scared of stages. They've never they get a little nervous from time to time because, naturally they want to do their speech right and all of that stuff, but they don't have this crippling fear of stages or speaking in front of people because they've always been extroverted and they've never had a fear of people. Now, as they've gotten older, and they've always been taught to go and ask for what they want and to get in communication, that they're valued, that even though they're in a small little body, that, they need to be respected as little beings in these little bodies, right? Even though they haven't earned adult rights yet. But anyway, I don't want to go on a tangent on that, but the kids have definitely, they're not afraid of stages like normal kind of people were, and not how I was raised. Like I had to overcome it. I don't think they're having to overcome that because they've never been indoctrinated to go out and fear people. And, again, now that they are 11 and 14, and it's appropriate to have conversations with them about things that they need to know about, potentially pedophiles pretending to be kids on, Roblox and all these things. These are conversations that I've now had to have as they are approaching their teen years, and I am not, naive as to what's going on. So I've had to have these difficult conversations and let them know that these kind of potentials can happen. But am I going to go terrify my kids at the age of 6 and 8 and let them think they could be kidnapped and taken away and beaten at 6 or 8? Why would I put adult problems on a kid's lines? Why would I ever not protect the space and let them be in a situation where that can happen? Yeah. So no, I didn't do that until it became age appropriate.
Elena, I love it. There's so many things I've learned from you guys just in the domain of even how to parent, especially around the domain of not shushing my kids and letting them actually speak up and speak out. And I love that. Hey, one of the most important questions, I got a couple more questions for you. One of the things that you're known for, and maybe this is from my perspective, but number one, you're known, guys, Elena is the one who's raising up as the voice for females, for women in this, and not just in this country, but in this world. And it's proven itself to be out with the number of people who are going out to 10X ladies. Like, it's unbelievable. Her and I were joking, like, man, the first 10X ladies might probably gonna be bigger than the first 10X growth con, like, just to put into perspective. But Elena, what you're also known for is building empires, like helping people build their own empires. And like, when you talk about building empires, what are the domains of a person's life that are important as they build their empires? Like, what are the domains that are super important as they want to decide to build their empire?
Well, it's interesting because there are 4 pillars that I talk about, which is the foundation, like the posts to build the foundation of the empire upon. And that is what I'm going to be going over at length at 10X Ladies. And the concept is, well, the 4 pillars are mindset, like how to get your mind to be thinking right and get rid of, the negative associations that you have that are literally stopping you from achieving your goals. So you've got to have your mindset, your relationships, right? Because not just relationships with your family or your partner, but people, like, there's never been an empire built alone by one person. It takes people, it takes planet Earth, it takes people. So how do you get along with people? How do you get them enlisted in the mission and your vision and working with you to achieve success together? So it's mindset, relationships, money, and lifestyle. Your lifestyle includes your health and wellness. And the concept is you can't be 10x in your health and your relationships failing, and you can't be 10x with your relationships, but your money's failing, because you need all four. We live on an economic planet. You know, you need money to buy things. You need money to buy diapers, you know, and so we need to be talking about money, and we need to become wealthy. The derivation of wealthy comes from well plus healthy. What healthy? We need to become wealthy in all aspects, in mindset, relationships, money, and lifestyle, and how to get 10x on all of that to then fortify the empire that you build upon those four pillars.
You guys know what happens when you 10x, 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 and 10x? That's 10,000x when you multiply 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. So that's what Elena helps you do. You know, I'm gonna, you know, Grant's the 10xer, Elena's the 10,000xer. So she's the 10,000xer. But that's important, guys. Hey, I want you to tell me, like, assess where you're at right now. And we're doing the show live. If you're listening to this after the fact, like, assess really quick. Like, where are you at in, let's go in that order. Where are you at today in your mindset? Where are you at with your relationships? Where are you at in your money? And then in your lifestyle, which is your health and wellness. Let us see it, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at today in those? Because Elena's right. Most people are winning in maybe one of them and losing in 2 or 3 of them. I'm sorry, a 500 record or a 1-3 record, winning once but losing 3 times, you're not winning. And quite frankly, 3-1 isn't good enough. Like, it's 4-0. That's what I love about Elena and Grant, is they're going 4-0 in those 4 areas. Like, they're winning in all 4 areas. And a lot of you are like, I want to get to the next level of that. Like, that's the big thing right there, is I also want you to, I've seen Elena so powerful with her mindset. Like, let me tell you, like, it blows my mind away. When you have a husband and you're married to Grant Cardone, for her to go and be able to find her voice and do what she's doing, and the 2 of them, like, support each other in that. Most people kind of want to shy away. She stepped into it and added to it. Like, the 2 of them, 1 + 1 = 10. It doesn't equal 2. Like, it's powerful. But she had to get her mind right in that. And then the way that she thinks about money too. Guess what, guys? She's the one that went to Grant and said, yeah, you're supposed to play bigger. Like, you're supposed to be a billionaire. And if you don't know the story, he kind of got pissed off at her about that. He's like, what is enough not enough? Like, he got, like, she is the one who challenged him in that domain. And then I can personally speak to relationships. I can tell you that over the course of the last year, when things were needed on 10x stages or something was needed, Elena's the first one to call out as a partner. She's a partner of mine. And she's like, how can I help? How can I support? Let's do this together. I see the way that she is with her daughters. I see the way that she's with her friends. She travels with friends. I see how her and Grant are behind closed doors. Like, her relationships are dialed in. And then, man, if you pay attention to her on Instagram and you watch her, like, she's boxing like a champ. I wouldn't want to take that right hook from her. Like, she's up-leveling her health. Like, her and Grant, I made a commitment to Grant at the beginning of the year. I said, Grant, by the midway year, I'm going to have lost 40 pounds. Today, I'm about 35, 36 as we are today. So I'm really, really proud of that. But I've been inspired by 10X Health. But 10X Health was because that's the lifestyle that, the reason why Grant and Elena bought that with Brandon Dawson and Gary Brecka is because they were living it. And because they were living it, they're like, we want to be able to extend this to the rest of the world. So when she talks about those 4 domains, I just want you to know she practices what she teaches. Most people don't practice what they teach. And so one of the things that I'm going to say, and then Elena, I'm going to have you give some closing thoughts today. That's how I see Elena in those 4 domains. I'm curious, did you rate yourself? Like, I hope you rated yourself. And here's the big question. Where do you want to be by the end of this year? Like, you might be somewhere, but don't be stuck in that. I don't have you rate yourself so you can be like, oh crap, I'm sucking. No, I'm having you rate yourself because what you don't measure, you can't improve. And if you know where you're at today, you can say, this is where I'm going to be. I didn't want to step on the scale in January because I knew it was going to say a number higher. I was like, it's going to say 250, 255. It said 260. But if I don't measure where I'm at, I can't improve. So when I stepped on it last week and it said 225, and that was what I got married at. When I got married 21 years ago, I haven't been there since my wedding day. Because I went on a cruise the next week and put on 10 pounds after that. You got to assess in order to improve. You've got to assess in order to improve. So this, Elena, this is what I want to do. We never do this on this show, and I'm going to make it very passive. Guys, I am excited. Elena is hosting 10X Ladies. And yes, it's for ladies. It's for your significant other, for all of the folks who have a significant other, ladies out there. And guess what? It's for smart men. That's what I'll say. It's for smart men, very smart men. But she's hosting it. She's got Venus Williams. She's got Megyn Kelly. She's got Natalie Dawson. She's got, Sherry. She's got a lot of people. I'm going to forget some of the folks. I'll let her do it. But I want to encourage you guys in August to go get a 10X Ladies ticket today. I want to encourage you. It's 10xladies.com, 10xladies.com. It's August 4th and 5th. It's in Miami. And listen, I'm going to be delivering a talk out there, finding your voice and telling your story. I believe more women, I believe Elena is advocating for women in a way that nobody else is advocating for them. Like, I really believe that. And we need more women to find their voices and tell their stories, because if they can do that, they can change our world in the same way that Elena Cardone is changing our world. And so I am going to bonus in to anybody that decides to get a 10X Ladies ticket. We have an entire online course on overcoming stage fright and overcoming the fear of speaking. We sell it for, I don't know, $500 to $1,000. Anybody that chooses to go get a 10X Ladies ticket and join us in Miami, I'm going to include that in. All you have to do is email Pete at 10xstages.com. I'm doing this. It's for the moment. My team's like, we didn't plan for that, but that's how Grant and me and Elena operate. We just do things that we feel in the moment. Email me personally, Pete at 10xstages.com. Show me that you got a 10X Ladies ticket, and I will make sure that you get instant access to overcoming stage fright and fear, and beginning to help you understand how to craft your message. Pete at 10xstages.com. Elena, anything you want to say to 10X Ladies, but also final thoughts today?
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Really awesome bonus for anyone that comes to 10X Ladies. Yeah, for all the guys out there, there's going to be a lot of gentlemen there. A lot of people are going to support their women. Like, so many times the guys ask the ladies to support them. And so it's nice that we're having the guys show up and support their women. And you don't have to be afraid either, because my whole purpose, I have 3 things that I'm trying to accomplish this life: empower women, protect children, and restore the family unit. So I'm definitely not trying to tear men apart, tear relationships apart. I'm trying to get us back in communication with one another, where we can actually work in a coordinated effort to reach heightened levels of success. So that's my intention. So a lot of guys are coming just to hear that, so they can understand and be on their same page with their coworkers, their sisters, their mothers, or their wives, girlfriends, or the single dudes, or the smart ones coming to find and look at the audience for these 10X Ladies. But to all my 10X ladies out there, I really want to see you flourish and prosper and have everything that you deserve in this life. As long as you've got some love in your heart and a little hustle in your muscle and some good core values, 10X Ladies is here for you, and I'm here for you. And this weekend, or for that Friday and Saturday, will be guaranteed a life transforming, amazing 2 days of your life that will never be the same, and no one will ever be able to take that away from you. People ask me that all the time. What would you do if you lost all your money? I'm like, okay, well, I would lose all my money. I would not lose my integrity. I would not lose what I've learned, what I'm able to do. I would not have lost my communication skills, my grit, my honor, my courage. You know what I'm saying? So when you go through an event like this and you actually pour into yourself and you invest time, energy, and resources into your own self-enhancement, that's something that can never be taken away from you.
Elena, I'm so excited. Like, this is going to be fire. Like, I believe it's going to be the conference that's like, who knows, like maybe one day it'll even be bigger than Growth Con. You're going to fill stadiums with it because this is something that's needed. It's needed. I know men will be in the room, but it's needed for the women. And I love those 3 core things that you stand behind. And the reason I wanted to have you on here today is because I know it's coming up. I was going to have you regardless, but I'm like, no, I want her earlier so we can make sure that nobody misses 10X Ladies that needs to be there, because it's going to be phenomenal. I'm stoked to be there, and I'm stoked to see the excitement of the people in the chat. So I know you're several hours ahead of us, but thank you for being with us today. Like, guys, would y'all drop her some love in the chat? Kimberly, Kit, Sophia, Jim, Bonnie, Peter, like, show her some love in the chat. Show her some love in with your body language. But Elena, thank you for being here today.
Oh, look at all this love. Thank you. Thank you, Pete. Thanks for having me. And thanks for putting in that nice bonus offer for the 10X Ladies ticket. Can't wait to see everybody there. Hug it out and go to height levels of success together. Bye.
Bye, Elena. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, listen, what a show today, and so much value. She dropped so many nuggets. Hey, what was your biggest nugget today? What was the biggest takeaway that you had today from today's show? With Elena? Kids. Yeah. The 4 pillars. Yeah, they're definitely winning in the 4 pillars. Yeah, a lot of parenting brilliance. Own your voice. You loved her values. Yeah, like, really. Now here's the bigger question. The Bible says faith without works is dead, you know. Learning something without action is not good. So the question I have for you today is, what's the action that you're going to take out of today? That's what I want to know out of the show. Quite frankly, it's a challenge that I'm going to give at the end of every show. What action are you going to take as a result of what you learned today? Blake Haas says, move quicker. Get really quick. Inga says she's going to start boxing. Somebody said, I'm going to use my voice. Get a little bit more specific. Where are you going to use your voice this week? Where are you going to use your voice? I don't be vague in your action. Be specific. Specificity is your friend. Specificity is your friend. Vagueness is enemy. Oh, I'm going to lose weight these next 4 months. No, I'm going to lose 40 pounds these next 6 months. There's a difference between vague and specificity. So I really hope that you'll take action today. What an incredible day. I'm such a big believer in Elena and what she's up to, which is why today I'm talking about 10X Ladies, because I believe in it. I'm an advocate of it. I've seen what she's done. And if you want to go create that framework of those 4 pillars in a way that you've seen her do it, or you've heard that she's done it, it's not just her. It's every other woman that's speaking at that event. That's what they're going to be drilling into over the course of those 2 days, is those 4 pillars. And so what a fun show today. Thank you for being with us today. We're back next week again. I hope you have an incredible week and get a win with that action that you're going to take in your life this week. God bless.